Hello YouTube. I wanted to put out a video where I talked about a little bit of my typing process I'm working on to see if it will help me get closer or not to getting the right type as Dave and Shan on their Objective Personality website. This week they are going to be typing Elijah Wood, and I have some clips put together to kind of show what I think his type is. And I guess we will see if we are correct, and then from there, maybe I'll make another video going over the things I missed and where I got things wrong. To start off, I think I should give a warning that this is going to include some spoilers on what I think Elijah Wood's type is, so if you want to go type him yourself, you should go do that first. So because this whole process is new to me, I wanted to start off by stating what I think his full type is, and then we will go through the clips and I will show the pieces of evidence that I have picked up in terms of why I think it fits. So the type I think Elijah Wood is MF, SIFE, blast, play, consume, sleep. You'll see a myriad of different things in this clip, including a little bit of awkwardness trying to describe things in a non-sensory way. And another thing you'll notice is talk about other people.
So few people have done what you've done. There's just such a small group of you that understand that similar experience. It's great.
Yeah, it's so wild. It's difficult to articulate to people. I mean, I remember getting back to Los Angeles after we were finished with principal photography. And I was exhausted. I think the most exhausted that I've ever been in my life. And I remember so many feelings that were so distinct and unique, and I'd never felt them before. And I got home and I was like, I don't know what my life means anymore. I've been living in New Zealand. I've been on this schedule, making this thing for so long that I didn't really know how to function. And then when people would ask me about the experience, it was actually difficult to try and articulate it in such a way that they understood what it was really like. In many ways, those appendices on the DVDs are the best document for explaining what it was like to make those films. It's not easy to actually articulate it. You kind of have to show people.
It's kind of doing it a disservice to describe it in a sentence. How was it?
In this next clip, you'll be able to see some of the responsibility for the facts and information, along with a little bit of blaster lesson going on.
Okay, so we also found this late night clip. Can you tell us the story behind this appearance? So this is an insane thing, but and I can't remember this gentleman's actual name, but I was in Moscow for press, partially, for Maniac, weirdly enough. This guy has replicated the same format of Jimmy Fallon. So the show is the Jimmy Fallon show, but in Russian. And being on it felt weirdly familiar, but it was also, I think I had a translator in my head, so in my ear, so he's speaking to me in Russian, I'm speaking to him in English. It was very surreal, but yeah. So Jimmy Fallon, you have a counterpart in Russia.
Actually, read this one comment here.
Right, Elijah Wood is a nice person, and there's some kind of sympathy for him in my soul. Some kind of sympathy. I love direct translation of languages because the actual direct translation is often like a strange bungled English. But yeah, there is some kind of sympathy for him in my soul. Well, thank you.
This next clip is interesting because I think it shows a little bit about how he seems to be getting a little weird about the abstract ideas.
Speaking of that, games like Silent Hill or Resident Evil, sometimes they can be a more frightening experience than even the most suspenseful thrillers.
Totally.
Like, psychologically, what do you think that they can do that maybe films aren't able to?
Well, it's an immersive experience. Unlike a film which is passive, you are a participant in the game. You're playing the character. There are moments playing sequels of Silent Hill that were genuinely disturbing to play. You're not sitting back and watching something. You are making the choice to go down that hallway. You are making the choice to, you know what I mean? And I think in that sense, there's a level of suspense and sort of within the context of the interactivity that makes it maybe more scary.
In this clip, I think it really shows the demon intuition and the way that Elijah responds to some of the conversation going on. Along with, if you look at his face, I think he shows off quite a large amount of play energy.
I was like, how's it going? And he was like, it's a bit of a nightmare. And I said, why, what's happened? And he said, well, Jack was doing really well. We were making money. We were bringing in a nice amount of money. We weren't overly speculating. We had a few buildings here and there. We were doing well. And he said, Jack went to bed one night and he said, I built a ton of train tracks and train stations and it's like broken the world. And now we don't have enough money and there's crime and the buildings are getting smashed and no one's living in them and everyone's leaving. I was like, oh no, Billy, what are you gonna do? And jokingly, I said to him, can you buy like a superhero character, like a Batman type character to, help out the police and be there at nighttime when the police are going to sleep, thinking it was a joke. And Bill was like, yeah, you can.
What?
You can buy, he said it's really expensive. You can buy like a superhero like Batman. And when the police are asleep, he's roaming around the city, stopping people from, smashing windows and all that kind of stuff. It's so cool. So I was like, sell everything, like revert it back to normal, just buy Batman and build the city around this superhero.
Yeah. Those are just words of wisdom. Just sell everything, buy Batman, and everything's going to be fine.
In the next clip, I just wanted to show some actual evidence of what I think is double deciding.
Is Elijah Wood vegan? No, man. I'm so sorry. Don't mean to be offensive to any vegans. I love food too much. But yeah, veganism is intense. I mean, you can't eat honey, for instance. Honey's delicious. Is Elijah Wood?
For this one, I wanted to show more how I think this is FE instead of something like TE, because it's obvious with how much he talks about we, us, and they that he is most likely DE, but I feel like this clip really shows what Dave and Shan has talked about before about FE people looking to be on that, the frequency of others.
Meeting Sean Astin for the first time in LA, I went up to get a wig fitting. And I came downstairs, it was at a hotel here in Los Angeles, and I came downstairs and I saw Sean walking in to go get his wig fit. And we locked eyes and immediately embraced. I mean, I'd never met him, but there was just this thing of, hey man, we're about to do this together. And I've never been to New Zealand, and I don't know you, but oh man, we're about to share in some pretty incredible experiences.
This next clip, I think, really shows some more of the demon DI in terms of him not wanting to really take the compliments. And also, I think a little bit of masculine DI, and also maybe sleep last.
Already, I'm sure you're aware of it, Elijah, that the buzz has been, even before the movie comes out, that this could mean an Oscar nomination for you. Are you aware of that?
I seriously doubt that. Are you serious?
No, there is a buzz about it.
Lord, I never heard anything like that.
We're not reading the same trades then.
I don't read the trades, so, well, that's surprising, because I don't think it's Oscar performance. Might be good, but it's not Oscar. Maybe Kevin's performance, but not mine. It's not. It's hard to put it because it's not. It's not. It is. It's something that's never been done. That's true. It's like the emotions, and there's so many different things. It's rarely done, and I was lucky to be able to pull it off. But I don't know about Oscar, and that's a great honor to be thought of as Oscar performance. But I don't know.
You don't think that it's on a par with Anna Paquin in The Piano?
No.
No?
No. I don't like to think of. I don't like to put myself up on that pedestal. Put myself up on thinking that I'm that great that I could be. I don't like to think that way. And even if it was, I don't like to think about it.
Okay, well, we'll see where...
So this should be the last section, but I just wanted to show a little bit of what I think is masculine sensory in terms of him talking about Prap falling downstairs. And I think this is good evidence, as in he's seemingly enjoying throwing his body into the environment in a masculine way.
I can't remember what we were doing, but you were in front of me and you were looking over your shoulder talking to me, and you kind of just missed a step and tumbled a little bit, but trying to regain your footing down those stairs. And we were laughing, and I was like, oh, you okay, Elijah? And you're like, yeah, I'm okay. And you kind of like bounced up. And then as we turned the corner to the next set of stairs, you either did it on purpose or it happened again. And you jumped up like a cat. It was crazy.
It sounds like I did it on purpose.
The second time.
The first bit, maybe not.
Yeah.
That sounds genuinely like I was losing my footing. But the second one, yeah. Because I loved, and still do, love pratfalls. I actually took, the staircase, so the first hotel that we stayed at, where they put us up before we ended up getting accommodations.
Was it the
10 points?
The Duxton.
The Duxton.
Nice.
Well done.
They've since changed the name of it, I think. It's now a different hotel. But it was the Duxton then. Nice one.
Yeah.
And I remember intentionally, because it had that, when you walked in the lobby, it was a high ceiling. Yes. There was a mezzanine that you could walk up to. There's a big staircase off to the right that would wound around to the mezzanine area. And I remember taking those stairs and intentionally pratfalling down those stairs.
Wow.
Brilliant.
About halfway down, yeah.
But you were very difficult to hurt. I remember once. I don't mean emotionally. But, I remember
easy to hurt emotionally.
But physically, nah.
Nah.
I remember we were somewhere at the sort of seaside because the sea was there and there was a.
And I suppose that will do it. I guess we'll just have to see how close I got or not, and then maybe I'll make a second one seeing what I can correct and what I might have seen wrong. Hopefully in the future I'll also be able to streamline this video making process in order to make them better, more efficient, and hopefully get some more information out there on a kind of general process to go about when typing someone. For the rest of this video, I'll just play Elijah Wood repeating himself, telling the same story 3 different times about the same way. So stick around if you want to enjoy that. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye.
Well, first things, I actually went to the casting office in LA and I read the script because they weren't giving the script out. It was under lock and key. So you had to go to a room and sit there and read it, and you couldn't take it with you. So I'll never forget that because I went and read the script for the Fellowship of the Ring, and it was like I traveled to Middle Earth. I remember driving home and thinking that there were like orcs and goblins following me in my car. It was so transportive. I really remember that distinctly. It was really powerful. So then my agent said, okay, so we'll set up a meeting for you to go in. And I thought, I just don't, for this one, I don't feel like that's the move. I don't feel comfortable going into a casting office against a white background, with a standard video camera and sort of playing this character. I wanted to make an effort that would evoke the passion and excitement and enthusiasm that I had for being a part of it and kind of, I don't know, give me some other upper hand or something. Make it special. I wanted to make it special and make an impression. So I decided to do my own tape, and I'd never done that before. But I said, I'm going to do this. And then I was like, shit, I have to do this. And I went to Western Costume in Los Angeles, and I got like a Hobbit costume. So I got a book on what Hobbits look like. But I had an idea, like knee pants and waistcoat and that thing. I had an idea. I'd read The Hobbit. So I got this costume, and then a friend of mine named George Wang, who directed Swimming with Sharks, anyone seen that movie? He came over to my house, and he shot it with a friend of mine. There were 3 scenes for Frodo for the audition that were kind of just tailored for the audition. And it was a scene from film 1, 2, and 3 where he's barely himself anymore. And we went into the woods and shot some of this, and then went to the Miramax offices and used their editing bay and cut it together. So we shot it in from different angles, and then I took that tape to the casting office the next day and was like, oh, God willing, like, here it goes. And I dropped it off. And then I guess the story goes from there that the tape was sent to Peter in London. It was FedExed to him, and he watched it like 3 or 4 days later. And I guess he loved it. And then he came to Los Angeles and saw a number of people in person who he had seen tapes of that he really liked. So I'll never forget going to the casting office that day because I had to wait because there was a group of people that were going in first before me. So I was sitting and waiting in the office. And I met one of the casting director's assistants who came up to me and he said, man, that tape was really incredible. He's like, I could really tell how passionate you were about this. And that meant everything. Like, I could have walked out because I just thought, well, I did it. Like, the thing I wanted to achieve, the thing I wanted to convey, I conveyed. And this person confirmed it. It was sort of a more triumphant moment at that time than anything. And I went in and I met Peter, and Fran was there too, and I got to tell her how much I love Heavenly Creatures because I knew she wrote it. And then I auditioned for them in person. And then it was about, I think, maybe a month or 2 later that I was at home. My agent called me and she said, stay by the phone. You're going to want to pick up this call. I was like, oh, man. And I picked up the phone, and the voice on the other line said, hi, this is Peter Jackson's assistant. Can you please hold for Peter Jackson? I was like, oh, shit. And then it was Pete on the phone, and I'm in my house in LA, and he says, hi, Elijah, I would love for you to play Frodo. We'd love for you to come to New Zealand. Do you want to do that? And I didn't say much beyond, yes, Pete, I would love to do that. Thank you. Hung up the phone and screamed, And my life changed. My life changed in so many profound ways, but my life changed. And then months go by. I don't know if the official casting had begun. And then my agent called and said they're casting for Lord of the Rings. We go in. Peter's traveling around the world, is not going to be here, but we go into the casting office in LA. And I was like, I really want to do this. I don't think I want to just go into a casting office. I think I need to make my own tape because I knew that everyone was gunning for this. And I just wanted to have some advantage or do something that was in my control to give myself a leg up in some way, articulate how passionate I was about being part of it. And I went to the casting office to read the script because they weren't letting the script out. It was all like kept under lock and key. And you sat in a room, read the thing, and that was it. You left it behind. And I remember I read the script for Fellowship, and it blew my mind. I'd never read the books. I'd read The Hobbit, but I'd never read Lord of the Rings. I remember driving home really distinctly, still feeling like I was in Middle Earth. I felt like I was in the world, and it had such power over me in terms of my imagination that I remember driving and imagining like orcs running alongside my car. I was just very much in that space. So then I went to Western Costume in LA. I got a book that had some art about what hobbits look like. I went to Western Costume, rented a costume, like, just below the knee breeches and suspenders and a shirt, like very much a hobbit outfit. And then my friend George Wang, who was a writer on the faculty and also wrote and directed Swimming with Sharks, helped me out and like shot my audition with another friend. And we shot some of it at my house and then went to the nearby forest, which I think must have been like Griffith Park or something, and shot 2 additional scenes from various angles, and then went to Miramax offices that night and cut it together, back when Miramax was a thing. And then I got the tape the next day, and I took the tape to Victoria Burrow's casting office and delivered it. I was like, okay, this is it. And then that tape ended up getting FedExed to Peter, and he saw it. He saw something, and then the next time that he came through Los Angeles, I auditioned for him and Fran. I was so excited to meet Fran because I knew that she had a lot to do with Heavenly Creatures. And then it was a couple months later. I was home. My agent called and said, stay by the phone, you're going to get a phone call. I was like, oh boy. And there's only so many things that could have been, so I was already like, oh, and then I picked up the phone. It was Jan, who was Peter's assistant at the time. She said, I have Peter Jackson on the line. And I was like, oh. And he was like, hi, Elijah, do you want to come to New Zealand and be Frodo? Yeah. Oh my God. It was life-changing. Agent calling me at the time and saying they're casting for Lord of the Rings. You should go in for Frodo. And I was like, yes, I'd love to. But you can't read the script. You have to go into the casting office to read the script. They're not giving the script out. I was like, okay. So I remember I went to Victoria Burrow's casting office, and I sat in an office by myself for 2 hours and read the script for The Fellowship of the Ring. I'll never forget that. And driving home, and I was so immersed in the world. It was so palpable and lifelike. It really kind of came to life off of the page. So I'd never made my own audition tape before, and this is long before the time when that was common. So it was long before that, and I just had this impulse, partially because I was a little nervous. Second, I just didn't want to go into a white room and do it that way. I was like, I got to do something different. So was going to a vocal coach or a dialect coach for the dialect, and then enlisted some friends, including George Wang, who's a writer, filmmaker. We went out to the woods, I think in Griffith Park, and shot 2 of the audition sequences there, and then 1 at my house. And it's sort of like there are 3 scenes. Each one was sort of a different aspect of Frodo along the journey. The last one being kind of like quite deeply affected by the ring. The ring is mine. We went to the Miramax offices that night when Miramax was still a thing, and cut the scenes together. And then I took that tape, output to VHS. I took that tape to Victoria Burrow's office, and then they FedExed it to Peter. I got a call from Peter himself, which was amazing, totally mind-blowing, and, the adventure and opportunity of a lifetime.